All right, everybody, so welcome back. So we are discussing now road safety with Sergeant Ancil Forde. Mr. Forde, always good to see and speak with you.
Pleasant morning, Marlan. Pleasant morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, Marlan, it is important that we deal with the issue of road safety. Now, the Commissioner's operating plan for 2025-2027, one of the strategic priorities is public safety and to enhance road safety. Now, we're speaking about the road traffic accidents this morning. And from my observation, Marlan, I have seen, I would say, an increase, right, in accidents. And sometimes when I look at the roadway, I am questioning myself, how did the accident happen? Yeah? You see one or two vehicles, three vehicles involved, and you look at the damage and you ask yourself, how did this happen? Right? It is nothing to, let us say, obscure your vision, no pothole, nothing that you dodge, right? Mm-hmm. So it begs the question, what are we doing as drivers, right? Now, I have some statistical data that I can provide. So I will just touch on the data. Why just touch on it? Because to the person or the family who lost a loved one, the data doesn't really matter to them. The data would help us at a macro level to strategize on these things, right? But for instance, Marlan, for the period 2024 to 2025, when we look at road traffic accidents, all right, 2024, it had 78. Within that 78 accidents, there were 82 fatalities. That's 2024, right? In 2025, whilst we have a 4% reduction in the accident, we have an increase of 5% in fatalities, right? So that 5% may be a small number to some of us, but that represents 4 lives, right, that would have been lost more for the period January to September, right? Now, before I even go further, let me extend condolences to the family of Nickel Rennie, a young man from the Beetham Gardens, who over the weekend lost his life, all right, due to an accident, all right? So the data tells us, Marlan, that for the period May to August 2024, 2025, we had an increase of 10% in terms of accidents and an increase in deaths of 25%, all right? Now, we can identify that within those persons who died, Marlan, if we identify drivers, 2024 to 2025, there would have been a 13% decrease in drivers from 23 to 20. Passengers, however, increased, right? From 14 to 26. That is an 86% increase in passengers who would have died. Pedestrians, whilst this we had a decrease from 40 to 30, right? Pedal cyclists, we also had a decrease. But bikers, we had an increase from 4 to 7, 75% increase, right? Now, these figures, as I said, whilst they speak to a certain trend, to the person or to their family members, their friends, who is dealing with the death of that person, the figures do really mean nothing to them, all right? So let's deal with the issue. Let's appeal to the drivers, Marlan, right? Now, given that 5% increase, there are common factors among, I want to say, most of those reports, right? Factors such as drinking and driving, the use of drugs, some may be prescription drugs, right? Mm-hmm. Some illegal drugs, speeding, falling asleep behind the wheel, inexperience as a young driver, and in some cases, you're outside with your friends and you're showing off because you could speed, you could dodge through traffic, right? Who are the persons we are speaking about in terms of who is acting like that, right? Now, I want to identify those persons. we. We are the persons, right? So, we means you, Marlan, me, he, she, they, them, all together, we, right? Because the vehicle standing by itself does nothing. It doesn't move, it doesn't go left, it doesn't go right. Somebody has to operate it, yes? So that responsibility falls on us, the users, all right? So, ask ourselves, that responsibility, is it only the responsibility of the driver? I spoke about the number of passengers who lost their lives, right?
Yeah.
So then, Marlan, we could agree that there's a shared responsibility, not only the driver, but even persons who are occupants, all right? To encourage the driver to be safe, to obey the laws, right? To not to be reckless. So, tell me this. How can we be more responsible? How can we be better drivers? We have to think. We have to talk. We have to advise one another, Marlan. We have to act, and act the right way. Make better decisions as drivers. So when you are out and you are thinking about drinking, think about, am I driving? Yes? If I am using whatever drug, am I driving? All right? Before I decide to speed, am I driving within the lawful speed limit? Is it at the road conditions? Is it safe enough for me to drive even within the legal limit, or should I drive slower? All right? When I contemplate breaking that red traffic light, I need to think, what are the consequences, all right? Overtaken on the shoulder. I know I worked wholly, but it have this line that I want to attend. I know I'm tired. When I decide to go to that line, think about the state of me, the driver. I'm tired, I'm drinking, I'm sleep deprived at the end of it, right? And whilst I did not mention it, part of these statistics reveal that 63% of the fatalities occurred between Saturday to Monday. If we are to draw any inferences from that, Marlan, Friday after work, Saturday morning you're going home. You're liming because it's weekend. You take the last lap Sunday and you're going home Monday to try to go to work. We can draw that part of it is because of we were out having a good time.
Yeah.
Right?
You see, Mr. Forde is such a nice person, and Mr. Forde will not say this, but stupidity and selfishness also contributing to what is happening on the nation's roads, because almost every morning, Mr. Forde, I come and I speak about the behavior of people, and there are people who will slow down after they see an accident, in some cases a fatal accident, and they pull off, speeding again. So it tells me something is seriously wrong with our mentality.
Yes, indeed so, Marlan. Yes? So we have to appeal to that sense of consciousness, that sense of doing the right thing. We have to appeal to each other in relation to us making that difference. So we ask ourselves, traffic laws, law enforcement officers, why? Is it to penalize us? No, it's not to penalize us. It is geared towards ensuring that we are safe, to protect us. But if we understand the length and the breadth of the road, From Grandy to Port of Spain, roughly 50 kilometers. From the end of the highway south to Port of Spain, 50-something kilometers. We cannot have police officers, licensing officers, traffic wardens along the length and breadth. It is not practical. So it comes now to you, the individual, understanding your responsibility, not only to you, but to other road users, by you doing the right thing, thinking about the consequences of your actions, right? So it speaks to us obeying the law as opposed to breaking the law.
Just incidentally, the numbers are up there if you wish to speak to Mr. Forde about road safety, only about road safety. You can please call the gentleman now on 623-1711, the extension, it's 1995. Go ahead, Mr. Forde.
Yes. Ask yourself as a driver, who am I really hurting? Yes? Your answers would be that you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your family. You're hurting your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, your friends, your community, the industry that you're employed in. Because your loss, your life, is a loss to them. You may be the only breadwinner, all right? And in a case like that, your family is just thrown in the open, all right? You need to think as drivers, all right? So, we need to take responsibility for what it is we are doing outside there. And whilst it is that the Trinidad Tobago Police Service has the I Road Safe campaign, where it is we are promoting road safety and encouraging stakeholders to get involved and help us promote it, right? You, the individual who is a stakeholder, you have to be a part of that change.
Yes.
The change begins with me. It begins with us. So,
and of course, Mr. Forde, we are entering a very critical season here, Christmas and Carnival.
Well, indeed so, Marlan, right? We are. And whilst it is, that speaks to, let us say, the last quarter of this year, into the beginning of next year. Marlan, I want to issue a challenge. Yeah? A challenge to drivers. Let us make that difference. Let us make the change, right? Challenge and commit ourselves, yourself, as drivers, to be more responsible, to be more compliant in terms of the road laws, the traffic signs, right? To be more considerate in terms of how we drive on the road.
Mr. Forde, you have a caller. Good morning, caller.
Morning, good morning.
Morning,
Hi,
sir.
pleasant morning.
I was wondering if the police could team up with somebody, say like social division, departments, and do some statistical analysis of all the accidents, road accidents that happen, say for instance, the last 10 years. So we could figure out what are the causes of the accidents instead of just generally disclose it. So probably do that statistical analysis, we could say, well, hey, look, indicators cause accidents more than everybody. We could target our resources towards, indicators. Or you could say the second one is defective number plates cause accidents. So we could target our resources to that. So generally, holding rule blocks all over the place and causing unnecessary traffic. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Caller, thanks very much for your suggestion. I want to say that we do have that sort of activity, teaming up to compare data and use that data to generate our strategies. Whilst you made mention of a particular body, I can't say if it is that body is part of it, right? But yes, we do team up, and that data, it is used. But thanks very much for that recommendation.
Let's take another call.
Sure.
Good morning.
Hi, morning, Marlan.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Hi, morning.
Concerning these road RTAs across the country, What I think we need to see is more police presence on the road. They have a division called Highway Patrol Division. I don't know what. Sometimes I don't see them on the road at all. I'm talking about if I traverse the highway, Pochoy Highway, Churchill Roosevelt. You don't see them on the road at all. The next thing that I remember leaving home, I was forced up to go in for a school. And I think if they have a highway patrol vehicles on the road, they should do some speed traps. I was doing about 110. I was breaking the arm. And people passing me
You're honest.
at 150.
And people passing at
Because
that
they
point.
pass me flying. And I think in the morning they need to do some timing on the road. And lastly, I wish to personally congratulate the Commissioner of Police. He has made a difference in the CCPS, and I wish him well. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, caller, thanks very much. Whilst it is for a fact, I know that we do have various patrols on the highways. We have static patrols, we have mobile patrols. I guess what you're asking for is more, all right? And as much as the resources permit, indeed, the Commissioner of Police will have more patrols.
But it takes me back to the point that you are making and what this gentleman also alluded to. There is personal responsibility in all of this.
Yes, it is.
So I need a policeman on every corner to look to see if I'm speeding, and I'm looking to see where the police officer is. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Hi, pleasant morning.
Good morning. I'm calling to ascertain whether the thought is put into road traffic exercises. One morning, I was coming out of Maraval at 7 a.m., and a road traffic exercise was being undertaken in the peak of the traffic. People are trying to get to work, get their children to school, and there is an RTA being undertaken to check the levels of tint. Now, whilst I understand all of that is within the law, but really, there must be common sense, because it appears as though the exercise was being targeted to cause irritation to citizenry. I mean, what is the rationale of doing these things? Don't you put thought and consideration into the conduct of these exercises? Why, one asks. And then you're being pulled aside, they check the tint on the vehicle, and whether it is good, they give you a ticket, and so it's as though no thought is put in to the conduct of these exercises. That's what I like to ascertain. Is there thought put into the conduct of these exercises?
Thank you very much.
Okay, caller, whilst it is that you had that experience, and I can't say what would have been the particular reason on that occasion, yes, there is thought and there is planning in terms of the exercises that we engage in. Now, on that morning, for whatever reason, the officers had cause to carry out an exercise. And whilst it is that they may have checked for tint, that is not the only thing that the officers would have been checking for. All right, so that timing may not be best suited for you, but based on the strategy employed, it may have been appropriate to conduct that exercise. Yes?
I hear you, Mr. Forde. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but what you cutting bush, blocking off the highway, 7 o'clock on a Monday morning, cutting bush for? You could explain that one? So there are exercises such as these, you understand? But I do hear the pain of the lady, because sometimes certain exercises are not necessarily the police, but other agencies are doing strange things on the nation's highways and byways at critical times.
Big time.
On a Monday morning, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. What you doing those things for? But, ma'am, I do hear what you're saying, and I do hear what Mr. Forde is saying, but I don't want to put Mr. Forde on the spot to answer those questions. Mr. Forde, come here for that bacchanal.
No bacchanal, but it is a reality, and I understand the point made by the caller, yes? So, continuing with the discussion, Marlan, and we're saying that change begins with us, right? So, being more considerate, being more patient, exercising that maturity on the road to understand that although I need to get to point A now,
Yeah.
I need to get there safely. All right?
Yeah. Ma'am, you have another call? All right. Mr. Forde, well, we do have another call, but we can't take it. But Mr. Forde, you have just about 1 minute. Mr. Forde is popular this morning. Go ahead, Mr. Forde.
I enjoy the interaction from members of the public.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, so we want persons to jump on board on the iRoad Safe campaign. Let's preserve life, reduce the carnage, promote safer driving, and have no more fatalities for the remainder of 2025 and continuing. So the challenge, Marlan, is to us to let us change our behavior on the road and focus on having no more fatal RTAs.
Yes.
Let's close it off. 86 at this point in time, or 87, no more. Let us try that. Yes?
Mr. Forde, thank you very much for coming this morning. And of course, this is not going to be the last discussion concerning road safety, because as I said, we are going into the Christmas season and the carnival season.
Yes,
Mr. Forde, thanks again. We're coming back, everybody.